So good evening, everybody. I'm going to try to show more or less the relationship that I had with Durrell and the work that we are doing in Bolivia. Well, it's going to be focused more in Titicaca water frog. This is a completely aquatic frog. My first contact with Durrell was in 2006 when I went to the amphibian conservation course, when I learned about amphibian conservation. And this experience really changed my life, and I wanted to become an amphibian conservationist. And then I went back to Bolivia very excited to try to work with amphibians, and nobody was interested in amphibians, these brown small things. So for this reason, I decided to create Bolivian Amphibian Initiative, a project working with research, capacity building, and education. I'm going to show you an example. We did research with several species, but I'm going to focus with Titicaca water frog. Like I told you, it's a completely aquatic frog that lives just in Titicaca Lake at 4,000 meters above sea level, and it's just under the water. So we wanted to know the species, how was the situation of the species. For that, we went to the field and took as much information as possible, trying to know requirements of the habitat, water quality, numbers, habitat use. And for that, because it was a completely aquatic species, we had to basically make our own methods, because there are methods to work with amphibians, but not with completely aquatic amphibians. So we had to adapt coral reefs methods to work with this species. So basically to dive together with the frogs. Doing this, we were able to get amazing information, amazing data that nobody knew about this species before. And also to know the species in a closer way. For example, nobody knew, I don't know if you see it here, it's a frog, and here's the nest. Nobody knew that the genus take care of the parents take care of the nest. And here, for example, you can see the male taking care of the eggs. Nobody knew that, because everybody that did research before with this species, they did it from the boat, just counting the frogs or with the nets. So diving allowed us to get a lot of information, but also gave us sad news, because we found more and more dead individuals, dead frogs. And we found that frogs were also victims of chytrid, a fungus that is killing amphibians all around the world. But also, we got information that people were using the frogs, and not in a sustainable way. And for example, I don't know if you heard about the juice frog, where people put the frogs basically in a blender and they mix it and they make a juice. During this work, I tried to convince more people to work with me, because at the beginning it was one-person project, and I went back again to talk with Durrell and told them, please help me, and we need to organize a course in Bolivia, in South America, so I can have more people to work with. So Durrell went to Bolivia and we organized a course, and in that way I had more people thinking the same way that I was thinking and wanted to do the same things that I wanted to do. And since then I organize almost every year training courses in Bolivia, and now we have people from other countries that are going to Bolivia to learn about amphibians. And until now we have like more than 10 countries going to these courses and more than 150 people trained. But also we train local communities. We involve local communities in our work, because local communities need to be involved to work in conservation. Also, we do education, trying to show these ugly frogs to people and to convince them to protect them. And every time that we go to the field, we try to show them what are the frogs and why they're useful. And we also try to share this information in different media, website, and we already had some documentaries showing this frog. And we wanted also to try to work in captive breeding, because we saw with all this data that we needed to learn how to breed this species, because they were going down and we needed to learn urgently to do something. We didn't have the funds, we didn't have the money, so this was my first facility for captive breeding. This is my bed. And here are the boxes with the frogs. So basically I slept with the frogs, trying to learn about them. It was a perfect way to learn how to breed frogs. Luckily, in 2010, I got money to buy a container, so we installed our new facilities, trying to keep these frogs in captivity, and we were able to breed these species, and we were the first ones were successful to breed this species. We are doing more or less okay. And in 2015, we had this event, massive mortalities in the lake. Thousands of frogs were dead. And we had to do something because nobody was worried about that, and the government didn't want to do something. So as Bolivian Amphibian, we said we need to do something. We have enough knowledge, and we need to do something. So we had a lot of meetings with the governments, with the government to try to see how can we do this, and they basically told us, we are interested to support you, we don't have money, you can do whatever you want. We took the advantage. So we went back to the lake, and we got a lot of information, what was happening in the lake, what was the reason of the massive mortalities, what was the scale of these massive mortalities, and getting much more data that allow us to understand the situation. Also, for example, Durrell sent some people to Bolivia to understand other aspects of the situation of the frog, and this is a student that went this year to study the situation about trade of the frog and also the attitudes of the people with the frog. So at the end, we got this picture where we saw that in the big side of the lake, we don't have too much massive deaths, but all this area. And you see the dots are, the frog is gone. And we pass all this information, scientific information, to the government to say, look, this is happening, we need to do something. And we did this, like, transform all this scientific boring information in a very easy language to talk with government decision makers to take actions, and that was the next step. And we said, yeah, with all the data that we have based in the research, we said we need to do something. And we built our second container to hold just the Titicaca water frog. And again, with the help with Durrell, Dan from Durrell went to Bolivia to help us to install these containers. And now we took frogs from the wild just in case something happens, because the government is not doing things to change the situation at the moment. So we decided to take some frogs from the wild. And now we have these frogs in captivity. This project started as one-person project, and now we are a team, like almost 20 people working in the project, and also working with other institutions. And this is one thing that I learned from Durrell, it's better to work in a team. And I'm trying to put more people, institutions in this project to try to save one species from extinction. So my idea is to try to do something for this species.
Well done, mate.